Just start recording. We're gonna talk some bad shit. So, Tony Isaacs has no idea how to use Zoom, even though we did a podcast.
Well, the reality is Tony is just getting out of his car right now, and he's he says he's having trouble logging in, but he's really just getting out of his car. And he's saying, this computer's not working. I borrowed it from the city of Toronto, and this doesn't seem to be working. I haven't used it since 1926. But
these city workers, I tell you, Aaron, they don't know the struggle that me and you go through.
They don't know the struggle. See, connecting to audio. So we got both links connecting to audio right now. So I'm pretty impressed that we are going to have our guest Tony Isaac, the man, the myth, the legend, joining us as soon as he gets out of his car. World traveler. Aaron. As soon as he gets out of his car and ready to roll.
Very traveled.
Is he coming online? I don't know.
Can you give us some video?
I hear a rumble.
So as we're waiting for our guest to connect, Aaron, give us your thoughts. Did you watch Who's Number One?
I did have a chance to watch Who's Number One. I didn't have a chance to watch the entire card yet. Oh, look at this. We have Mr. Tony Isaac available. He has two links going on because he thinks he's going to do a double screen. So he's going to probably have a left and a right. Who knows?
Link is, but I don't know what the other link is. I don't even know how to sign off on that.
I'm going to remove it right now. Hold on a second.
It's good. You're getting kicked out. Hey.
No.
That was a struggle.
See, I know Zoom works on here, so I don't know what the fuck that was all about, but whatever.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Tony Isaac. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for getting out of your car. I know you were running late. You know, there were computer issues apparently, but I know you were just pulling into the driveway. You'd be like, "Oh, I swear it's the computer. It's not working."
Yeah.
He's on City of Toronto time, Aaron. Leave him be, okay?
It's Sunday. I'm at home making dinner for the family.
Excellent. So, Tony, you've had a couple of crazy weeks. Obviously, you just got back from Abu Dhabi. We have a lot of discussion to talk about today. So, first thing, how was the flight? How was the trip out there? Did you have a good time? Obviously, the Canadian athletes did amazing. So, I want to get a little bit more into that. But tell us, how was the travel?
The travel is long to get to Abu Dhabi, but when you're excited about what you're about to do over there, it's, the travel is a minor issue, but it's a pretty long flight to get out there. But, I've done it a few times now, so I'm kind of used to it. But yeah, man, I was just so excited to get out there and watch some of these athletes go at it.
Awesome. So for those listening, why were you out there? Explain a little bit of what you were doing and kind of your role of, what you're doing. You went out there to bring a bunch of athletes to the JJIF. Can you explain what that is, why it's important, and kind of your role in getting everybody out there?
Well, if I could relate, we're here in Canada, so if I could relate everything to hockey, maybe people will better understand. The NHL represents the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, and the IHF represents the JJIF. That's basically it. If you win a Stanley Cup, you're considered the world champion of hockey at the highest level of sport. Those are the best players in the world that play the game, but you're not representing your country, you're representing your team. That's the difference. With the JJIF, you are representing your country, and some of those best athletes across those countries, for the most part, are there at those tournaments. The tournaments are not easy. They're very hard, but I do like the format. And if we're ever going to see jiu-jitsu in the Olympics, knock on wood, that is the organization that's going to put it there. So we follow that line. If you remember, many years back, we lost our ability to do jiu-jitsu tournaments in Ontario, and it was primarily because we weren't recognized by a national body that was recognized by the JJIF. So they want to see the line come from the IOC down when it comes to amateur sport. And in order for us to do jiu-jitsu the way we wanted, we had to link up with those guys. So we ended up doing that to get to where we are now. The beauty of it all is that the JJIF uses the exact same rules as the IBJJF. So, for us, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, The only difference is the guy doesn't have Gracie Baja on his back. It says Kazakhstan. That's all it is.
Mhm. Excellent. So how, obviously, like it was about a 2 week event, wasn't it? Like it lasted for a little while.
It
And
was
how many?
long because they
How,
had quite a few age groups. So they had under 16, they had an under 18 division, an under 21 division, an adult, and a master.
awesome. So
So
how many Canadian athletes altogether? Because you guys had a big team that was able to go
yeah,
this year.
yeah, we had 29 out there, the most we ever had.
That's amazing.
We ran we ran our national championships every year. We usually would pick the adult team from that, but we decided for the first time to add a under 16, under 18, and under 21. Some guys were selected, others earned their way by winning nationals, and yeah, it was great to bring these extra athletes out. It is definitely a bigger chore because you're dealing with 15-year-old kids in hotels and having to make sure you monitor them. You're dealing with people from other countries, other parts of the world. So, you got to keep your eye on your kids, if you know what I mean. And so, yeah, there was a lot of intangibles, if you will. But yeah, man, it was definitely well worth it. And, like I said, our kids really did well. So, I mean, I'm happy that they decided to make the trip. It was a long trip for everybody, but they said they would do it again, and that's all I really needed to hear.
So like what were some of the highlights for so some of the competitors like out in Canada? Like what were some things that stood out for you? Who was representing, who did well? And then like what's the future for some of these events going forward?
Well, I mean, like I said, with regards to, I was really excited to see some of the underagers go at it. Like Ethan Wong was fantastic. He ended up winning silver, lost by a referee's decision in the gold medal match, which was, a little heartbreaking. But man, like he really performed well, and he did a great job. His sister, of course, won gold in the under 18 division. So you got a pair of killers in the Wong family. You also had another silver medalist in under 18 in Hannah Hepworth. She did an amazing job to get to the finals. And yeah, we had a couple of guys who lost the bronze medal match. Quentin Terrell lost in the bronze medal match. He did amazing. So yeah, some kids really did well. I was kind of expecting some of the adults to do well. And some of the adults that didn't do well, I was kind of hoping they would do well because they did well in the past. But man, it's such a tough tournament. You know, like Michael Sheehan ended up losing before getting to the medal rounds. But man, this guy is a World Games bronze medalist and a four-time world bronze medalist. So he's got nothing to lose. Sometimes you fly in, and I know some of our guys were a little sick for a couple of days. They weren't feeling the greatest, and sometimes it's hard to get everything going in the right direction. I think maybe in the future, some of these athletes got to fly in a little earlier when we've got to fly all the way over there. Some of these athletes from the other countries don't have to deal with that. So, it was tough for some of the guys, but having said that, we still, did really well as a team. The adult team took second overall. Our girls team is still, in my opinion, the best girls team in the world at that tournament. We ended up at 7 gold medal matches.
Wow.
We were in 4 of them. We were in 4 of the 7 gold medal matches for all the women, and won 3 of the 4 gold medal matches. So, and to think we didn't have anybody there at 45. So we really only brought girls for 6 weight classes, and we're in 4 of the gold medal matches. So, yeah, best girl team in the world for sure.
Nice. So when you look at obviously because you've been doing this for a couple of years now, especially going overseas, seeing all the different athletes, obviously the team has gotten bigger. Have you seen the level of competition every year just start to rise better and better and better? Like teams are getting better. Athletes are starting to recognize different athletes. They're recognizing games, obviously, because they might have had rematches here and there.
Well, we're getting both, to be honest with you. From 2017 in Colombia till now, I think that the athletes of the other countries have just exploded. in their talent, and it's just going to get better every year. I first noticed Kazakhstan in 2017, and I was like, wow, these guys got really good guards. Well, now their game is so rounded, it's pretty amazing. Like, the Kazakhstan team is very, very strong. Of course, the UAE team has always been strong, especially on the men's side. They've been really good. Their girls team was actually pretty good this year, especially the younger girls. And they did very well compared to when I saw them in the past. 2019, they weren't as strong as they are today, of course. But you also got to remember too, in Abu Dhabi, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the national sport. So they have a whole national team training center there. They have a building just for jiu-jitsu. It's pretty phenomenal. The same building that they use for Abu Dhabi World Pro is the same building that we were fighting in at this competition. And man, like I said, there's a handful. Israel's got an amazing team. Germany is okay. Like I said, there's a lot of the other smaller countries have really strong players, and surprisingly, Angola in Africa has a monster team, and they're all very good. Like, I can't get over how talented some of these other countries are. But having said that, we did really well, and Roger, who was our representative referee in the back, was telling us how all the officials in the back were talking about Team Canada, and that's really good to hear, that they couldn't believe how good we were. Even despite we've kind of showed very well in the last couple of years, but this year, like I said, we finished second overall in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is, because we're a North American country compared to all those strong countries over there in the east side of the world, they were very surprised at how well we did. So yeah, I couldn't be happy enough. I said it in my Facebook post at how proud I was of these guys, and they showed up. They did a great job.
How would you rate the level of competition compared to let's say an IBJJF event or an ADCC event, like the classic, when people are watching jiu-jitsu, and those are usually the events that come to mind. How would you rate, the levels comparatively to each one? I know you used the hockey analogy earlier where let's say the IBJJF, the NHL, but how would you rate the competition and over there with the JJIF?
To be honest with you, the analogy of NHL and the IHF, this is way tighter. Do I think that if the Bouchechas of the world were to show up at this tournament, are they going to win? Yes, I do think they're going to win. But you got to remember this: Brazil is only going to allow to carry 2 athletes per division, just like everybody else. So you're not going to have 10 Brazilians at this tournament. So it's, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win in every single weight class. So, I think if Brazil brought an A team, yeah, it would terrify everybody. But, having said that, I think that a lot of these guys that are fighting in these competitions, if they were to go to IBJJF Worlds, I think they would do very well, especially the guys from the UAE. They would do very well. But I don't know if we're ever going to see that, because they're just happy to go to AJP and happy to go to the JJIF Worlds. To them, it's their world championship. UAE doesn't have a fight team like most of the schools here in Canada do, or the US. They are Team UAE. That's who they are. They're not Gracie Baja or Alliance or anything like that. They don't have that there. So, yeah, it's just a different culture over there, but the jiu-jitsu is equally as strong for sure.
So obviously, kind of when you look at more athletes now that they've kind of seen the success of obviously the Canadian team going into this year, obviously we're going to get a lot more individuals, I think, from the Canadian standpoint, especially wanting to, again, a lot of those guys that probably went from Ontario, I would assume, or were there mostly the team?
Oh yeah, the majority of them are from Ontario. We've had some
right.
from Quebec in the past. but the majority of our Ontario, the competition that we select the team from is held in Ontario. You know, it's put out in the public, you know, for anybody who's Canadian. If you've got a Canadian passport, you can try to be on this team and try to win a spot. But you know, it is a lot of money to travel, and the people that, you know, don't know any better are not going to waste their time to come out here if they don't think it's going to benefit them. So
Yeah.
I will say that I did have a handful of people contact me while I was in Abu Dhabi talking about how they can get on this team, because, you know, I was posting everything and people are seeing it and they're seeing the spectacular that it was, and they're like, well, it's really cool to be able to go over there and represent your country. So you know, there was a handful of people, I'm not going to name names, but there was some black belts that were asking me, you know, how do I get on Team Canada? You know,
Mike Bryers, how do I get on Team Canada? Aaron Gall, how do I get on Team Canada?
Yeah, you know, so I mean, yeah, just go win nationals. You know, like it keeps it as fair as possible. I know some of these other countries, they choose their teams differently, but I think the fairest way to do it is to run a trials, and you win the trials, go to some training camps with the national team, and then go over there and do your thing. You know, so I mean. You know, my son was actually on the team this year. He ended up finishing second at nationals, was able to go. Unfortunately, he got caught in a rat tail. I don't know if you guys know what a rat tail is, but if you can imagine a 32-man bracket has 33 people in it, well, they're going to want to eliminate one. So they do an elimination fight between number 33 and 32, and the winner takes the 32nd spot. The loser is done. So
Wow.
They don't get the ability to have a double elimination bracket. So, you know, he drew Kazakhstan in a rat tail and lost. So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you. It's a conspiracy.
You know, but hey, it was a great experience for him. You know, so he'll be better. He'll be better. It just goes to show you that it is a very tough tournament, and you know, but it was good to see that he got an opportunity to test his skills at that level. So. You know, it was great to have him there.
Well, I think especially like obviously the success of this tournament, plus like all the things that are coming down, especially in 2023 with, again, I think there's a tournament going on every month in Ontario. There's the ADCC Open, which is going to happen.
I feel like almost every weekend there's going to be something going on.
There's going to be obviously Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Championship, which is happening November 27th. Plus, there's going to be another couple shows in 2023. Like, there are so many opportunities, especially for Canadian athletes, to showcase, get practice, get training in. Obviously, the trials for the Canadian national team is going to be happening as well. So there's literally like so many opportunities for these athletes now, where we even look at like 2 years ago, there was no opportunity. So now we're kind of like making up a lot of different times. Bright times ahead, as they say.
Yeah, there's a lot of events going on, even outside of our organization. And it gives people a lot of options to choose, you know, what they want to do and what works for them. So, I mean, you know, if people can get the opportunity to fight on an event where they can win cash like they do in the United States, hey man, all the power to them. I know one of our star players here in Canada, Kieran Kinchuk, is really running the circuit out in the US now and fighting in competitions where he can win some money. And man, all the power to them. That's great for them that they can live, you know, make a living competing in this sport. I believe that should be both an amateur and a professional aspect to what we do. And you know, it was great to see a guy like Kieran be on the team a couple of years ago. And but now the door's open for other people. We've had the Allison Tremblays on this team. And, you know, now we had a new star in Rain Pfaff from, you know, Rain Pfaff from out Sarnia area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she was, man, she trailblazed through her division and won gold. You know, nobody knew who she was, and she kind of made it look easy. And she's a new brown belt, so I mean, like, man, nothing but the way up for her. She did very well. One of my bright lights actually out there, because she was a nobody to them, and she went out there and showed them that wasn't the case. So, good for her. And I know she was excited to go and probably way more excited to win. So, she had a great time there for sure. But we had quite a few athletes that did very well. So
Awesome. Changing gears, because we're talking about like a lot of different events. Like give me your thought on, there's a lot of events in the States going on, like such as like Who's Number One. And then like, me and Aaron are currently involved with Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro. Like from your standpoint, what are some things that are needed to maybe even push jiu-jitsu maybe locally in Ontario and across Canada to push it to like another level? Like, do you more shows like Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro, more tournaments? Like what do you think is needed to kind of take things to the next level now?
I've been toying with this for a couple of years now. Obviously, my plate's full. I do run a show called the Canadian Submission Expo. I haven't ran one in a couple of years, only because I've been so busy. But I've been trying to push a lot of other promoters or event coordinators to run shows, just primarily because it's great for the athletes. They don't have to pay to compete. It allows people to be put on a showcase, like being put in a theater. It's a great idea. And I think if we could get a whole lot more shows like this and have them streamed, we would get more exposure for our top athletes. I think what Fernando's doing with the Ace Cup is amazing. And he did one show and he was getting a lot of calls from the US about what it is that he's doing up here and how, I can see the Ace show in the future being covered on Flow Grappling. I really do. I think if he continues in the right direction, I really think Flow Grappling might pick it up. But you just gotta, just keep pushing the pace. I'm loving the quality of athletes that he's having on the show. A whole huge number of black belts are coming out of the woodwork to fight on that show. And I think it's just great, if they can see the vision, it's just going to make the show better and more exposure for all of them. So they just got to be patient and just go out there and fight and let people know what we're all about up here.
Will we be seeing Tony Isaacs on the Ace Jiu-Jitsu Pro Cup?
Sure you will, in stripes as a referee.
As a referee.
As a referee.
Yeah, those days are over for me. I got to leave the way for the guys who put on the best shows. And as much as I love me out there, it's kind of
you gotta leave room for the young guns such as Aaron Gall and Mike Bryars. Like that's what's gonna put butts in the seats.
100%.
Nobody wants to see my old butt out there butt scooting. No, they don't. Definitely the scene has evolved for sure. The talent pools, man, it's just been amazing. Again, like I said, the more shows we can get, like Ace Cup, Ground Games does their own thing. The more shows we can get like this, the better. I was just in Port Elgin a couple months ago for a very small show up there, but man, they packed the house. It was amazing. They packed the house for a bunch of blue and purple belts. So I mean, like, there's definitely opportunities for both athletes and promoters. They just gotta take the chance and go out there and they gotta put the time in and do something. But it'd be well worth it for both the athletes and the promoters, if they would see what I'm seeing. I would love to have like a circuit here in Ontario on the no-gi side at these shows. It would be amazing.
So I know we talked about it briefly last time we were on the podcast many moons ago, but we also still look at like how we like grappling in general was illegal in Ontario at the time. And then, now it's back because we got associated with the proper affiliations, grappling associations, the whole deal. And then you look at Quebec, it's still illegal to run a jiu-jitsu tournament in Quebec.
Yeah.
So obviously there's been, people voicing their own opinions about it and all that kind of stuff. Like, has your thoughts changed since the last time that we spoke? Whereas like, are these guys ever going to see jiu-jitsu back in their province? Or is it just going to be where it is?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I would love to help them. I kind of feel like in my heart that if I just try to go ahead and do it, some people might be cool with that. But I think that a lot of the players in Quebec might not be cool with that. They may think, oh, Ontario's trying to come in and take over our sport. And I
At
don't
this
think,
point, fuck them. They're not doing anything.
What sport? What sport do they fucking have there right now, Tony?
I'm
Like
sorry,
that's
Tony.
the question.
It's like,
Like,
what
to anybody in
fucking feelings are
to
you
anybody
hurting?
in Quebec right now is listening to this, why don't you fucking do it yourself then? I don't give a fuck. Send your hate mail to me. I don't care. You know,
so you know, they you know, there's a lot of roadblocks in the way for them right now. And I just think that it's a lack of education on the government side in Quebec. I would love to educate that government as to why there should be jiu-jitsu tournaments in Quebec.
why that government's fucking stupid, but go on.
Yeah, so I mean, like they're I know that
There, I said it.
there's a group out there, the Quebec Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. I believe Johnny Zamuli is still a part of that. I haven't spoken with Johnny in a while, but the last time I did speak with him, they did have a meeting with the government. I don't think they made any headway with it. I wish they would put more pressure on their government to make things happen. If they need a letter from the Canadian Jiu-Jitsu Association, I'm ready to write one in a heartbeat. So, you know, with regards to the connection to the International Federation, we can definitely help them with that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's essentially up to them. They gotta make things happen there, the same way we made them happen here in Ontario. I don't think it's much different. I just think that
Tony, like, what exactly needs to be done on like Quebec's end of things? And like, you know, there was the ban, like like from the backstory I've heard, and this may not be 100% accurate, but like it involved not even jiu-jitsu, but it was involving like MMA and like rival promoters, and them basically like pretty much shooting themselves and others in the foot, essentially, when it comes to
so there's
like running events. But go on.
There was a lot of tattletaling going on. It actually had nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. There was two kickboxing promoters who did not like each other, and so one was doing an event. The other promoter ratted him out, and so they went to shut him down. And it happened to be the day before AJ, the Abu Dhabi Pro event, was supposed to happen in Quebec. And so while the guy was getting shut down, he goes, well, what about the jiu-jitsu event happening tomorrow at Pierre Charbonneau Arena? So, you know, oh, you're going to tell on them? Okay, we're going to shut them down too. And that's what ended up happening. And I think that for the most part, everybody's afraid to do something now because they don't want to lose their shirt. So they're imposing Section 83 of the Criminal Code, which really doesn't apply to us because we're not prize fighting. Sorry. Yeah, we're not prize fighting, so we're amateur sport. So, you know, they need to get that stuff in order. They've never had a PSO in Quebec in the past. So it's something that they need to generate and get done, in my opinion. But you know, yeah, like it's a mess over there. It's unfortunately it's something that they got to fix. Again, like I said, if they want my help, I'll gladly help them, but I'm not going to offer it.
Here, Tony, I'm gonna paint a picture for you. Okay. So obviously a couple months go by, you know, more people start voicing out their opinions, especially not having jiu-jitsu in Quebec. And then what happens is, you know, some players start getting in motions, and they have a big, like, you know, the council chamber and everybody, you know, stating their facts and all that kind of stuff of why we need to have. And then all of a sudden, Tony Isaac comes out from the door, right? And nobody knows what this gentleman's going to say. And then Tony comes out and he just sits at the podium. He says the most inspiring speech and lays out the ground rules of everything that's going to happen and how you get these PSOs involved and everybody's. And then all of these school owners fucking hate your guts, but all of the other people love you because you know what? You made sense. And everybody was like, we got jiu-jitsu back in Quebec, and everybody's cheering. Would you take that? Can you see that movie?
Well, and there's a lot of people that already hate me, so
This is-
kind of used to it. But the reality is I would love for jujitsu in Quebec to be flourishing. I really would. I've had this for years now. I've been wanting to do a Quebec versus Ontario super fight show, and do one here in Ontario, do one in Quebec. But
well, I
that's
can't do it in Quebec right now
never
because
going to
it's
happen
illegal.
in Quebec. So it's unfortunate, but I mean that's one of many things we could do. Man, I look at the roster of membership in the Ontario Jiu-Jitsu Association, and I think about 5, maybe 600 athletes are from Quebec. So they sign up, they come over here and compete in our events here. But those 500-600 memberships should be in Quebec, being able to compete in events in Quebec. It's unfortunate that it's not that way right now. It's got to get better. It can't get any worse than it is now, right? So I've heard some talk that that the Quebec government was going to try to treat it like pro sport, which would be an absolute mess, to get the commission involved with it, because they would just take all of the amateur sport funding
just
away from
ruin
it. It would be a disaster. It's the worst thing that could ever have happened. And who's going to train referees out there? The government? Yeah, right. Good luck with that. So, unfortunately, yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle. But like I said, if they said, Tony, can you help us and look into it? I'll definitely do it. I have resources here. We have the Ontario government here that can put me in touch with the right people in Quebec, just to have a chat. And because I really believe that the government don't know what the fuck they're talking about over there. And they need to be educated as to what amateur sport is. What's the difference between jujitsu and wrestling and judo, or why they're allowing judo and not allowing jujitsu to me is ridiculous. It's just, and then I even heard that karate got pulled from the Olympic docket. So now you can't even do a karate tournament in Quebec, which is absolutely stupid. So, they clearly.
So hold on one sec. You just brought up one. So judo tournaments are okay right now, correct?
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu tournaments not okay right now.
That's right.
What's the difference?
Not much, really.
Exactly.
The rules. The rules are
Yeah.
different. How is it different than wrestling, other than the uniform you wear?
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing, right? There's no striking in what we do. So, it's you're dealing with a bunch of people who haven't been choked before, and they probably just need to get choked. But again, like I said, it's a political issue, not a sport issue. But our members are treating it like a sport issue because they can't participate in the sport because of a political reason. And they just got to figure out how to get around that.
They need to get organized. I think it's the big thing. And this is also coming from somebody who's, for people who are listening, the audio of this, you're wearing what shirt is that? Is the Saskatchewan Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation.
Yes.
So no offense to Saskatchewan, but if they could have a fucking organization, how the hell?
Exactly.
Well,
So
I think every other province, no offense to Saskatchewan, I don't want to get a bunch of hate mail from people from Saskatchewan from their igloos emailing me being, hey, I don't take kindly.
Yeah.
I don't take kindly to that around here.
Well,
With their pitchforks and them harvesting their wheat. Like,
I will say
I
this,
get it.
they're doing it right. They're doing it right over there. Man, it had to be, I gotta say 12 years ago. I reached out 12 years ago. Wow, I'm saying my age here. 12 years ago, I reached out to a whole bunch of people who I thought were in the know in different provinces. The Fabio Holandas, the AJ Scales, the Josh Russells, all these guys in other provinces. And I pitched the idea of them opening up PSOs in their province to do exactly what I wanted them to be doing here now, like what we're doing here in Ontario. And it took AJ, so AJ's out of Saskatchewan, and it took him 4 years to realize my vision. And now it's become his vision. And now they have been running, their organization there for, oh man, probably 7, 8 years now. And they're doing great. They just did their provincial championships. They flew me in to do a referee course, followed by overseeing their provincial championships. And they're doing great things over there in Saskatchewan. They don't have the numbers that we have, of course, but man, they're doing what needs to be done, and which I couldn't be happier. There's going to come a time that our Ontario athletes are going to have to go to Saskatchewan for national championships. Partly because these guys are doing what they're supposed to do. So so I was there on the weekend. Of course, they gave me this shirt. We need to have our sport governed the way Ontario is governing it here with the Ontario Jiu-Jitsu Association. I think there should be a organization like that in Manitoba and in Alberta, BC, Newfoundland, New Brunswick. I think they should all have one. And then we could have a real national championships. And then we can do Canada Games, which is run by the government, like Sport Canada would have a Canada Games. And man, that would be so awesome. Having Team Ontario go up against Team Quebec. And these are great concepts, man. Like, this is a great way to build your sport. And, but these things can't happen without us having 5 provinces that are doing what the Ontario Jiu-Jitsu Association is doing. So it's a slow roll, man, but it's slowly happening. Things are getting better. Manitoba, a group in Manitoba contacted me about wanting to get back on the ball of making this happen. I've been speaking with Newfoundland. I've been speaking with New Brunswick. So things are slowly coming around, and it's reminding me of my meeting with AJ, and then 4 years later they rolled out the ball and got it going. So I do see some of these other provinces are going to do the same thing, and over time we're going to be able to get there. So I'm patient. I'm not that young, but I'm young enough to make sure I can see this through before I die. So anybody who wants to take my job, go ahead. I'm going to be here
Aaron's
for.
got volunteer. Aaron's volunteering.
No, not at all.
He's gonna lose even more. He's gonna lose even more hair than he's lost.
That's right. Don't need that. No. So again, let this be a lesson to anybody listening, especially if you're our Quebec listeners. If you want this to happen, Tony's the guy you got to reach out to, but he's not going to contact you. So you have to reach out to him. All right.
He's kind of a big deal.
You guys got to fucking bite the bullet, and you guys got to suck up to Tony, and he's going to make it work.
Well, I hope I can make it work. No guarantees, but
no. Tony, I've seen you move worlds. You could make this happen, right? You got your computer to work. You're good. There's no problem.
It's okay.
Yeah.
If you can get your Windows 95 computer to work, then you can get anything done. You can get jiu-jitsu legalized in Quebec once again.
I'm pretty sure this is a 2000. 2000, maybe 2001. I don't know. Can't remember. But
so shifting gears a little bit. I like to steal Mike's tagline, but you boys
Shifting
have
gears.
kind of a little announcement that you guys wanted to announce up onto the podcast. So I'm going to kind of like sit back, leave the floor open for you guys, because apparently something's happening.
Oh, we got something going on, Mike.
Something's happening, Tony. What's happening? Why don't you explain it?
Well, one of my ideas I would love to have to, I've been doing jiu-jitsu since 1998. For the better part of 25 years, and I really would love to be able to have my own academy, my own gym. I've seen a lot of other people before me open up their gyms and be very successful. So now we are kind of like biting the bullets, and Mike and I are trying to make that happen. And it looks like we're going to be doing December, January. We're going to be looking at opening up our own place, starting small, of course, baby steps, but I have an ambition to have a very big academy, doing what I love to do, and that's teach people the principles of jujitsu, and whether it be uh, competitive jujitsu or just people recreationally doing it, or people wanting to do self-defense, whatever their needs are. I want to be able to provide a house that can give them all these different aspects, and just health and fitness. Mike is a personal trainer. There's going to be a lot of people there that are going to be lifting for sure in that gym over time. So it's just I want to create an opportunity for people that might be a little different than where they might be currently. So, and I'm not looking to steal or poach anybody. I just want to do my own thing, and I think there's more than enough to go around to be able to have our own students to grow under the Grappling Arts Academy banner. So yes, that's the name, Grappling Arts Academy.
Yep,
Very
that's
nice.
it. We're looking to launch in January. We're going to be in the Mississauga area. I'm really excited. I actually got I used to teach a lot. Like I'd fill in for Tony and Danny and other people like a lot of times, over the years when needed. But I really started to enjoy teaching and actually enjoy jujitsu even more when I started actually teaching with you, Aaron, at the gym that we do not speak of when we had our little program there.
Mhm.
And the gym that we do not, we don't talk about that here, Tony. Aaron's blocked it out, and if I said the name, you just beep it anyway.
I'll just beep it anyways.
Yeah,
They get no fucking press.
They get no press. See, Aaron actually has PTSD from that gym. So
no PTSD. I just have no time for them whatsoever. So
no, but
I appreciate everything they've done, but I got no time for them.
I got no time. You don't have the time of day for them. But getting back on topic, I actually really enjoyed teaching during that time, and it was something that during the pandemic I definitely missed, and I feel like now is the time. Now that things have settled down, I want to start teaching, and basically what Tony said, and just people in the community, whether it's somebody who wants to compete, somebody's kid who's getting bullied at school, somebody who's they just want to learn the art, and they're just like, hey, I'm a 30 or 40-year-old professional, and what's this jiu-jitsu stuff? I've seen this on the internet. I'd like to learn this or try this out. And those are the people that me and Tony want to cater to. And I'm actually very excited for this project. Once again, starting small. We're going to be starting a few nights a week, and then we're just going to look to build and grow and expand.
Yeah, I'm hoping by the time I retire that we have a full academy with everything that we would like to have. Man, it's so tough right now trying to find the right location for us to do what we want to do, or the right building to do it in. But I think with time, we're just we're going to get what we want in time, and we just got to be patient. Be patient, but stay on the grind.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited for you guys. I know commercial real estate is just the most fucking craziest thing right now, and the market's insane, and guys don't want to rent to recreational facilities because they're worried about the next pandemic coming down. And then so you have the options of subleasing. So I've gone through the ringer myself and trying to understand everything, and then working with other individuals. So I get it. So no, but I'm excited you guys actually were able to nail down a place, figure it out, and move forward with it. So it's going to be exciting.
It's also a place that we can grow into as well. Something you can start small, and then we just build, and then eventually, we look for something bigger and bigger down the road. But I'm excited for this project. I really missed teaching, and I want to get back at it. I want to build something.
For sure.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to share, or anything like that, or about that, or?
We're looking to be starting up in about early January. We're going to be releasing some information probably about the beginning of December. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Which days will be in operation, and we're just finalizing a couple things, and we're going to have more information out to the public very soon.
Yeah, it's a family-oriented affair with myself and Mike as the owners, but Matthew and Kat will also be on board. So, there's a lot of avenues that we can go into with regards to, what we are going to be teaching and who's going to be teaching at the academy. So we're very flexible with regards to having Kat and Matthew both teach classes there as well. So, I mean, over time, we're going to be able to, and Matthew's a massage therapist, and Mike, of course, is a personal trainer. So we're going to have a whole lot of amenities when we are in our forever home that we're going to be able to provide to our members. So it'll be a very, multifaceted gym is what I'm hoping for. I haven't thought about adding striking. For those of you guys who don't know, I have a kickboxing background, but I really want it to be a grappling arts gym. If the need requires us to add a striking program, then we could look at that time. But I really want to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu / wrestling academy, and be able to administer those two martial arts and be able to have our athletes attend those type of martial arts in competition. And but of course, we're gonna take our time. Right now we're not experimenting or anything like that. We're going all in, but we're just gonna take our time with how fast we grow. That's all.
Awesome. No, okay, gentlemen, it's been a great conversation today. I really do appreciate you, Tony, coming on to the show. It's been great having their aspect as far as your trip from Abu Dhabi. Obviously, the whole stuff that's going on in Quebec, which is a whole other issue, and obviously your guys' exciting news. Before we wrap up today, is there anything you guys want to say? Sponsors, events we got to talk about next time we get you on the podcast? What we're going to move forward with?
Well, provincial championships coming up December 3rd and 4th in Niagara Falls. I always say Niagara Falls is a great way to go to a great place to go to a tournament, because of course you have the attraction that is the falls. But I mean, I always encourage people to go to the OJ events because they're very well run. The promoter will have some say with regards to what they can do at the events, but pretty much the events are run the same from one event to the other, so you know what you're getting. So provincial championships is probably the second biggest tournament of the year that the OJ runs behind the Ontario Open. And come on out and see some great jiu-jitsu guys.
Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the time this night. It's been awesome, but we'll definitely connect soon in person, and we'll get a little bit more info, and then obviously we'll release them as we get them. All right, boys.
Awesome.
All righty.
Great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it.
Big boa, Tony. Big boa.
Make sure I'll update my computer for the next one.
Yeah, no. Just
maybe
I know you were just driving. I know you were driving. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
Maybe instead of Windows